Hello guys, just a quick video on a PCI motherboard that we've got from Panto. I was really impressed with this board, really impressed. So this is a PCI board. There is a total of 10 PCI slots. However, the effective GPU is I think 8 or 9. The first one is going to a CPU board. So the CPU board comes with its own CPU. So this one has an Intel CPU in it. It's not the Celeron or anything. It's just a simple built-in CPU. Just what you need for mining, basically. Very low end, low power. There is 2 USB ports. There is an HDMI port, and then there is the network port. So there's the power on switch. At the back, you can see that there is a SODIMM DDR3, so that saves quite a bit of money because RAM is now expensive. And there is the M2 slot for your hard drive. Okay, so it's a really good system. So that is your CPU board. It's very you just plug it into the thing. It doesn't have its own power, so that's where your CPU board goes, and then you just plug your GPUs in one by one. So the entire board works on these 6-pin power cables. So these cables don't come with the motherboard. They can be bought separately, but they're like $3-4 on Alibaba or AliExpress. So they're really cheap, and the biggest advantage to this is that you can use a server power supply with a breakout board. So using these server power supplies, you save quite a bit of money as opposed to using a consumer board. So here is one with a breakout board installed. Okay, this is a 1200 watt power supply. Okay, so you just plug that in to the ends here. There's 2 high amp fans outputs, and just plug your GPUs in. So I've connected one ready to go. Just really impressed, but there's one disadvantage, being that it only works with the mining GPU. So here is it fully connected. So these GPUs are mining GPUs. Again, these are RX 470. If I can pull one out, there we go. RX 470 does not have active cooling. It's meant for a server case like the ones we sell on our server on our website. Okay, so you connect by it's pre-modded, and it has a copper heatsink. So these copper heatsinks are really good. It's very rare to see a copper heatsink in a GPU. So these are meant for farms. So you want to save as much money as possible, and these are RX 470 4GBs, 27 out of the box without any modifications. So you can see here it's connected to a 1200 watt power supply with a breakout board. These cables are what like 90 cents or something, 80 or 90 cents on Alibaba, these cables here, and these cables are a few dollars on AliExpress. So very cheap. All you need is a 6-pin cable. So this is a 6-pin to a SATA power because I wanted to connect the fans since the GPUs don't have active power. So I've connected the front of our server case here. Okay, that's the front of a server case, just to cool these things here. So I'm going to move it back a little bit. Okay, and give you a demonstration on how this works. It's it's amazing. In like just a few minutes you can get a server rig going. So we're just selling the motherboard and the CPU unit in this, but you can build your own frame. So I turn that on and the fan turns on. Okay, and to turn on the unit, you just push the button on the top end and you can see the LED light up. And I'm running Simple Mining OS, and my Simple Mining OS drive is right there. Okay, so very simple, straightforward. I didn't do any modifications whatsoever. These are pre-modded, and you can see how quickly it boots up and goes into loads up Simple Mining. So again, I'm really impressed with how quick I could get this thing up and running. And the power usage is pretty good. Again, I'm not a AMD user. I've never used AMD cards in my life. All my rigs use NVIDIA 1070s. So I am still learning how to mod these and the power stages and stuff like that on Simple Mining. So I'm not really good. So don't use my settings as the settings to do. A lot of guys more experienced than me when it comes to NVIDIA RX video card settings on Simple Mining OS. So check out those videos on YouTube. So here you can see Simple Mining is loading up. It's preparing miners. Eight cards, as you can see, 8 cards. Very simple, plug and play, and you can see the power doing its thing. So I'm going to turn it off very soon because my power supply is only 1200, but it's pulling like 1400 watts. So I'm going to turn it off, but you can see it mining 27 mega hashes. Okay. So I think that's doing the overclock settings that I did some settings change just to reduce the power on the Simple Mining. I changed the 1266 to 1000 just so it would get lower power, and I put it to power stage 1. Okay, so it's still 1300, 1400 watts. So I can't use this power supply because this is a 1200 watt power supply. But you can see how good these power supplies are. I've seen it take up to 1400 something watts from a 1200 unit. That's the advantage of a server power supply. It's really good, and they're titanium. You can see the mining. So I'm going to turn it off, and just to show you how quickly you can plug these GPUs in. Again, remember, only mining GPUs, okay? Only mining GPUs. You cannot put a consumer GPU. If you're using a consumer GPU, put a mining BIOS in it. You have to disable the video outputs and everything. So you cannot use a regular GPU. Again, copper heat sinks. These GPUs are for sale as well. The really good GPUs, really impressive. Plug and play, but needs to be going into a server case that has a server grade fan, like this one here, for example. So these are deltas that go into our mining servers. So yeah, so if you can buy this board on our website techme.com.au, and we build custom mining rigs with different configurations. All right, so again, super impressed. You don't need to play with risers, all that cables, all that stuff. Nope. Simple, a good server grade power supply. All that you need, including CPU, is provided. You just pop in your RAM. If you're using Windows, you need to pop in at least 8 or 16 GB. Put an M2. You can run Windows with it, no issues. Really impressed.